Hey everyone, I'm Cal Spriggs. Today I'm going to show you how I made some really cool themed desert terrain for Warhammer 40k, Necromunda Ash Waste, and other tabletop games. I began this project with XPS foam that I had gotten at a local hardware store. Now, when doing my other desert projects, what I had done was cut this XPS foam outside, and when I did the videos I didn't show this part, so I thought I'd show this piece and how I did it so that you can see the full process. Now with this, as you can see, I've got the hot wire foam cutter, the handheld one, and I'm basically just using this along the rocks at first to kind of get the basic shapes. As I'm using the foam cutter, what I'm doing is kind of jiggling it back and forth a little bit as I slice through the foam. It gives that striations, the weathered rock kind of look that I'm going for with this, the sort of sandstone look. And there's a lot of mixing, matching, kind of cutting a piece to shape and then adjusting. And a big part of this is making sure I don't end up with these sections of foam that look too box-like or too square. Trying to do rounded edges, trying to basically take a squarish chunk of foam and through multiple cuts end up with something that looks far more natural looking and far less square or boxish. A big part of this as I'm working is keeping straight which pieces are which. It's remarkably easy when you've got a whole lot of small pieces of foam to get pieces confused, so there was a lot of, in my mind at least, putting them in the right place and keeping track of what pieces went where. You can see with these first few cuts it looked kind of squarish. Here I am labeling the different pieces as well. Now a accident I made here is I was holding it with my right hand, so I labeled it R, and you'll see I get the other ones I labeled L for left. I wasn't paying proper attention, so I got this mixed up, and it'll come back to haunt me later on. But it was really important that I label these pieces because I was making multiple chunks. You can see me here working on another piece. I had a model out there making sure that things were scaled properly. Labeling was really important, especially because I was cutting these outside for the fumes. So here I am. I got all the pieces inside. I've got them all labeled, trying to sort them out, figure out how they all went back together. And it was actually close to 2 weeks from when I cut these to when I was assembling them. So there was a lot of me going, wait, what goes where? And here I am remembering my left from my right, which is always helpful. I put the left pieces and the right pieces on the left and right, not realizing that I had mislabeled them. Figured out that something was wrong and that the top piece was upside down, which is basically I'd gotten my left and my right confused when I labeled them, but everything ended up going together. I properly fit them out and figured out what was going on as I was assembling them. But I used some construction adhesive. This is the Loctite brand. It goes on really well. Made sure I had good coverage, as I've done with some of the other rock formations that I've done on the channel, and basically just got these all set. Made sure that I didn't have any of the adhesive squirting out the edges and looking peculiar, and then glued it all together. Now I've got another set of rock formations along with the arch here that you'll see here in a moment. But getting the arch together was pretty easy, even though I'd gotten stuff backwards. It went together well, and the adhesive keeps it pretty sturdy. I've seen in other videos people using cocktail sticks or something like that to give it a bit more structural integrity and keep it together better, but I worked fine with just the construction adhesive. It held together fine. Part of what I was going for with this arch was sort of a natural stone arch, kind of like you would see at Moab or somewhere out in the American Southwest, and I think overall that's mostly what I ended up with. It does look a bit more boxy than I really wanted, but you look at some of the rock formations that I took inspiration from, and it's pretty close. So overall, I'm happy with it. As we come to the halfway point of the video, here's a quick reminder to like and subscribe, especially because here soon you get to watch me make yet another mistake that hopefully you can learn from. Now, here's another situation where you get to watch my oopsies. I was working on this. I'd labeled all of the pieces. The pieces all went together great, and then I had the base that I had pre-cut, and I didn't cut an oval base because This is kind of a weirdly shaped rock formation, and I was having just a horrible time figuring out how it all went together. It was kind of a nightmare. You can see me arranging it and rearranging it and not understanding why. Well, it was because I had the piece upside down. So I figured that out, and once I had it figured out, thumbs up, I got it together. So again, I use construction adhesive. I'm doing this video with my new camera rig, which is much closer to the piece than some of the other rock formation videos that I've done. So at times I struggle with this particular piece because it's very tall and it's got just weird shapes to it. Yeah, you'll see throughout the video that I don't keep as together as far as the videos for this one. One of the things you can see me doing there is checking scale with the model. Used a Space Marine in this case and just made sure he fit in the different spots and kind of seeing how it looked there to scale there on my workbench. Once I had these pieces glued together, next thing I did was put on some PVA glue. And again, if you watch some of my other videos, you know I've struggled with sand. With the rock arch, not so much. You can see me using the plastic bin there. But then I got to this thing, and again, it's a big, weirdly shaped base. Didn't fit inside the plastic bin, and then I wanted to do the slope. So here's me putting sand on that slope surface, and it went everywhere. I ended up with it all over my desk. Next step was pretty easy. I used some Mod Podge and black craft paint, as I've used before, to just kind of lock everything in and give the foam surface basically a hardening treatment so that it holds up to gaming. This process I'm speeding through on the video because you've probably seen it before. It is an important step though, because the Mod Podge helps lock in the sand and gravel on the base. Mod Podge also protects the foam of the model from damage when you're gaming with it, and just makes it more resilient overall. The very next process, again, was very simple. I took some Barn Red craft paint and gave it this nice red base coat. And I like this kind of vibrant red, again, because it gives that vibrancy on the tabletop and makes it look real, look like sandstone, the deeper red than a lot of other craft painters tend to use for this. So got the whole arch covered. It was actually pretty hard to find spots to hold this at times, trying to paint it. An important thing here was making sure I had complete coverage over the model, because that red was that base color that I wanted to show up throughout. So got it done, and you can see it's starting to look like a desert arch. I like it. The other piece, I didn't even try to film me painting it because it is kind of awkwardly shaped. You can see the sand dune that I have up against it. The next step was getting the overbrushing and dry brushing of the khaki and then later the sunburst yellow. With this, the important part was just getting coverage along the model, making sure that I left those deeper areas red, but I didn't stress it too much as I was coming in with a wash later. Here's the sunburst yellow, trying to hit the highest spots of the model, trying to get the areas that the sunlight would naturally fall on. And then I repeated that with the second desert rock formation that I was using. Now, with both of these, I then took my brown wash that I'd used on my other desert rock formations and I coated them both. And here they are for the tabletop. They turned out really good. They mirror the other formations. The one I'm calling the Desert Arch, but the other one I call Pulpit Rock because it's got that overhanging ledge where I imagine some chaos fanatics or cultists can stand out there and preach to their cultist followers. It looks good. It looks tabletop ready, and it's got sort of that theme that I'm looking for, that it's more than just, something that guys can hide behind. It can tell a story. It's something that kind of pops from the tabletop and looks interesting. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and feel free to check out my website, galsbergs.com, for more. Thanks.